something I realized that despite the difference in backgrounds, everyone has wisdom to share and everyone has something to learn from the other person. So hello, my name is Tulip and I'm a facilitator with Migrant Me. And on the side, I also am part of a social club in school, which plans events around social causes. So that is actually how I chanced upon Migrant Me. As a facilitator at Migrant Me, I help to lead learning journeys with students from tertiary and secondary schools. And essentially what we do is we bring them along on a 2-hour walk along in the Farrer Park region. So we cover different areas of Farrer Park. During each station, we actually cover a different aspect. So through the whole learning journey, essentially what we are trying to do is raise awareness about the migrant workers' lives, as well as the different issues that they face living here in Singapore. We hope to foster a bit of empathy and understanding in the students about the migrant workers' lives and expose them to such realities that they would otherwise not know of. At Som Road Playground, we introduced the notion of prejudice to participants, and we also give them a very quick overview. 2020 research that was done by the International Labour Organization, right, which short form is ILO. They actually conducted a research to assess the public's perceptions on the migrant worker community in countries such as Singapore, Japan, Malaysia. And they found that 53% of respondents mentioned that they felt that migrant workers were a threat to the country's culture and heritage. As SGHC, Singapore Accident Healthcare Centre, is actually a partner NGO of Migrant Me, and we introduced to the participants all the different issues that migrant workers have to grapple with. This ranges from financial worries to the risk of the jobs in which they work in. Have you guys heard of traditional Chinese medicine? So these needles are actually used in acupuncture as well. Yeah. So apart from just these needles and cups, there are a lot of other medical equipment that you will see on these trolleys that are used to help injured workers with their physiotherapy services. At Mustafa, where we cover some stereotypes that people typically harbour towards migrant workers, that they might be dangerous or they might commit crimes. We try to get the participants to stand in the shoes of the migrant workers, to think a little deeper than just purely seeing and hearing things at face value. Actually, one of the stops that we'll be going to right later, which is Lembu Square, it's a very popular hangout spot for migrant workers on their off days. And over the weekends, it used to be the case that you cannot, it's so crowded that you can barely breathe. But since COVID, it's become a lot more, it's not as crowded anymore. Now, at Rowell Road is where we really try to get the students to understand more about the psyche of a worker, how it is for them emotionally and mentally to be away from their families.
While looking in your youthful eyes, and will not stop seeing your soft hands.
Can we have a round of applause? Thank you! This poem was actually written by a migrant worker who misses his son, right, while he was staying in Singapore. So, how do you guys feel after reading this poem? So, what do you cook usually?
This thing once again, sometimes this one.
To cook side dishes, like vegetable side dishes.
Then no have ice box. That's why every day buy.
So those of you who didn't catch it, right, he mentioned that he has to buy groceries every day because in their dorms they don't have fridges or they don't have refrigerators or ice boxes to chill these vegetables and these produce, which is why he has to buy them fresh every single day. Now we are at Lembu Square. So this place actually has 3 names. So mini-mart is actually what the migrant workers used amongst themselves to call this place because there are a lot of grocers around this area, right? So this place actually symbolizes familiarity and companionship for a lot of migrant workers. So in fact, this is a very common first point of contact for a lot of migrants. By that I mean a lot of migrant workers actually transported here directly from the airport where their employers pick them up on their first day in Singapore. I got to interact with a migrant worker. His name is Iqbal. In our interactions, we went beyond just the scope of what was to be covered during the sharing. But while we had a bit of free time, I took it upon myself to ask him a few questions on his personal life in Bangladesh, about his kids. For example, he asked me about my life in Singapore. His kids don't have the same opportunities that I do to be able to receive a higher education or to be in to have tertiary education in the first place. So just being grateful that I have the opportunity to pursue higher education when there are people of my age in different countries who can't. I think the biggest thing that our volunteer work addresses is the prejudices that Singaporean youths have against migrant workers. Prejudices arise because of society's generalizations, one's own upbringing, and one's inaccurate analysis of their own personal experience, which are everyday life things. We are always surrounded by other people. By doing our own research into facts and opinions is something that the learning journey here at Migrant Me really tries to drive into students. Another thing is that knowing that I'm a youth myself definitely gives me the power to make an impact on other Singaporean youths. So knowing that I have that tangible impact to change how Singaporean youth view migrant workers is definitely a very powerful cause to me.